An ascension guide for the new earth. That is what I've created. And I'm going to explain all of that to you. It may seem that the world is going crazy, or you're feeling like you don't know who you are anymore. Something's changing. You're afraid. Things are happening you can't quite explain, or you're feeling physically a little uncomfortable. That means you're ascending, and so is our planet as well. And I was the reluctant mystic because I had to really understand what was coming through for me, just like every single person does. We all have different unique life paths that we are meant to live. And as we do that, then we create the world that we want to see and also the lives that we want to live. And this is the time that we're living in now. We can look at everything that's happening, all the chaos and the wars and the whole bit. But I knew that was coming, which is why I started doing this work. But I'm going to read you one message that I received in 2020. And I've always said that I know it's challenging because people don't hear me the first time, because I receive information before it actually shows up in our world. That was something that I had to become comfortable with my entire life. But let me read you this message, and it'll probably make a little more sense to you. And it was this one from 2020. And it says, the more you know, the less you understand. This message will be an illustration of what we wanted to impart to you all. We gave Roger that title, and then we sat here for quite a while before he would deliver the message, because he wanted to know first where we were leading him. You each have done that in your life to some degree, because you all, again, to varying degrees, have a fear of the unknown. We must also say this is not a new predicament for Roger, but more of a lifelong battle he's maintained since an early age. The difference now, however, is he's beginning to understand it. Roger could not hope to offer any form of clarity to himself or the world until he trusted what he hears, as we have been saying to each of you to trust what you hear. What we gave him today gave him pause, was to speak again on your world's condition. Currently, there is a restructuring occurring, and given you collectively hold the fear of the unknown, that will become greater as you are in the midst of profound change. It is not difficult to understand how the energy may impact you personally and your world when you offer resistance to the change because you want to know where things are headed beforehand. We will tell you that the United States will experience the greatest shift, and it was believed they held the greatest power. You will understand how the feminine energy we have spoken of was misplaced because there was an adjustment that was needed to aid the evolution of all that is. While it might be challenging to separate your individual experience from that of your world, do your best, as it will ease your anxiety. You are finding a new balance in your life where you honor all aspects of you. And when you allow your feminine and masculine energies to achieve balance, so will you. You will understand this soon. Now, that was in 2020. And I held back because I receive information, and I've done this since 1989, as many of you know. And for the first 20 years, I wasn't going to tell you because I said, they're not going to understand this. Except what would happen is every day I would receive this information and I would change my brain. We only change anything in our consciousness. You can think of this, again, it's ascension, self-actualization, self-development, however you think of it. It's all the process of using our consciousness to understand and own our unique life path and to live that to its fullest. When we do that, we're putting a new energy into our lives and also into the world. But sometimes that is challenging. And it was challenging for me because it was difficult to believe that I had spent my entire life, well, 35 years, creating an ascension guide. And then to see that it works because people come out of it healed. I'm saying healed in a way that is not just physical, it's about on your soul level. It's about your spiritual mission. We come into the world at particular times. We are not in physical bodies forever. So when we're here, we're supposed to have a good time. And we have that good time when we decide that we're going to move through everything that was old and the restrictions that existed within us. Those restrictions are in our DNA as well, meaning we brought them in. We were born with them, all of us. And so what I was told about all of this work and why this was called your life operating instructions was because we needed to operate in a new way. That means dropping all the old stuff, dropping all the things our ancestors, our parents could not do, which means hatred, judgment, self-doubt that we have, that we've learned. See, because we just learned it, that's all. And then the process of ascending is changing your consciousness to move to that higher state of awareness. We will do it in different ways. Some people will go and do ayahuasca ceremonies and do drugs. Some people who will do therapy or yoga or whatever. What I did is every single day I sat down and I received cosmic guidance. And the things that it was able to do for me were too unbelievable. So I probably didn't talk about it as nearly as much as I could have. In my book, Overcoming Fear, A Guide to Freedom, you'll hear some of it. You can read some of it in there. But I know what we can accomplish in our lives and in our world. What we're seeing in the world now is, again, these old energies that we are not willing to let go of individually and collectively. There would be no other reason to have wars. There would be no other reason to still have women be, not equal to men. Why are we doing that? It's an evolution in consciousness. And this is a big one because we've never done this before, which is why it feels stressful for a lot of people. I'm having people like, we're doing really great in my group though, because we're understanding that and collectively together, we're supporting one another in this challenging emotional change that we're all moving through. Everyone is experiencing it. It's not possible for you to look at all the death and things that are happening in the world and not have your mortality come into play. Think, what am I here to do? What am I supposed to do? And that's what this work guides you to. Now, when I was told that I had it and I put it in my program, 4 Weeks to Your Best Life, I knew people couldn't understand that because they hadn't seen what was happening in the world, or they hadn't felt the fear or the insecurity or whatever that was going on, or the confusion mainly, because it's confusing. How could this be occurring? And if you listen to my last channeling session or the ones before, I'll attach several of these to this video, just a link that I would like for you to hear, because they were a year ago and 2 years ago. And it was very clear that it was saying to me, my Wilhelm, that's what I channel, that this information could heal anyone. If it had done that for me, with everything that I have moved through in my life, all the fear, all the doubt, all the insecurity, depression, the illnesses, all of those things, and now 73, and that's like history. And I'm not saying that you will do that, but I know that it's possible. When we start to take the time to delve into who we are, the purpose that we were given to be on this earth, because everyone has that. Everyone was born with this unique purpose, but we've got to move through all the old stuff to get there. And I had tons of it. And it was difficult because I said, no one's going to believe this. And I'll tell you, I knew that because in 2016, when I was first going to bring this out, because I've known for a while where we would be moving, and I was going to call it Overcoming Everything, because I knew that if we used our consciousness, that awareness that we all possess, it's blocked a lot of times, but if we can access it, then we would start to live better lives, and we would add that to our world. See, because I've gone through all the changes in society, because I'm old enough to experience all of these different horrible, challenging times, but I do know that they all change when we decide to make new choices, when we decide to own who we are. And that's the step that I'm making now. When I first opened up 4 Weeks to Your Best Life, and well, it was in 2021, and I told people, listen, if you do this, and I'm saying it again now because I'm saying it now because I'm changing things. If you do these 31 assignments, that's all that it is. And take your time. You can do it. It doesn't matter. Your life will be changed. I guarantee it. You will never look at yourself in the same way because your consciousness will tell you who you are. You will start to find your life purpose. You will start to believe it a lot more. You will start to understand why you had certain experiences in your life, why you had the family you did, why you were born where you were. All of those things are what makes you uniquely you. And when you start owning that, you have this great life. You start putting a new energy into our world, and then we eventually start to see changes. And I will tell you that change is going to happen as more of us do this, but we have another year of moving through this period of change. It's a dramatic change, and we can go back and look at all the reasons it's happening because we're connected to the galaxies, to the universe, to the energy, to all, and it changes. Our planets are changing, and so are we. We just happen to be alive at this particular time trajectory in our world where it's a big change, but it's also the best time to be alive. See, because now you have an opportunity to expand in your evolutionary journey, discover who you are, love yourself, and become prosperous in abundance. And that's what this work will bring you to do. And I can say that now because it's already been proven. It was challenging in the beginning when I did it because the first time I put it out, I made it a really low price because I said, I just want people to change it, to try it. And you listen to these videos that these people, all they have done are the 31 days. I'm going to put the links in the description. You can find them different places, but I'll put them in the description so you can look at them because I need people to believe. Because after this month, in the next few days, I have to change that rate. I have to double it because it was a test to see, can this take people to really living great lives? And I know that it can. But now it's a time in my life where I've got to do the same thing. And that's taking the next step into owning all of this and then commanding the kind of money that it should be gaining, because people have spent thousands and thousands of dollars for this work and don't get the kind of results that they're receiving from that. You'll hear that in the video too. But it was me, you see, because I just want to help everyone. I want to see a much better world. And I know that if more people know who they are, can thrive and live great lives, we will have a better world. But I also have to recognize that not everyone's going to do that. And this is what we're going to deal with in this next year. There are going to be many, many people on our planet who are going to say, no, I'm not going to change and going to something new, just like that message said. And so you will make that decision whether or not you want to live this great life and contribute your magnificence to the world. And now you have that opportunity. So check out the links. I will leave them here. And as I said, there are a few spaces in the 4 weeks to your best life, but then I'm going to be changing that because I have more material than anybody can possibly imagine. It's all about consciousness. It's all about your mindset, and it's all about connecting you to that unique life purpose that was given you. That's all of us. No one was born without that. But now is the best time for you to own yourself. So check out everything and have a really wonderful day. See you soon.